Hey everyone, welcome back to the lab. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to actually format F# functions and records in a sane way. So why are we talking about this? Well, if you've been following the channel, you know I make a lot of projects and videos about F#, and really it's been my primary language that I've been coding in outside of work for the past, I'd say like 2-ish years. Now the problem, or I guess maybe like the good thing, is that I stumbled upon this article of F# code formatting guidelines a few weeks ago, and it really showed me that I was formatting a lot of my code wrong. And this is a bad thing because I'd been formatting it wrong for so long, but it's a very good thing because this is actually one of my largest gripes about the language, and realizing how you could format things a little bit more sanely really made me like the language even more. So in the rest of this video, we're going to be going into this example that I have here to kind of show you some of the patterns and how I was formatting my functions previously, because I think it might help others who were also having these issues writing and reading F#, so that hopefully you don't fall into the same mistakes. Okay, so I've tried to make this as big as possible, but basically what I've got is just a very basic F# function that's taking in all these string parameters, and then it's just going to return a string that just interpolates all of these strings together so that we can print it so you can kind of see it running. So I'm just going to run this real fast so you can kind of see what's going on. Here's the main function, just says hello world from F#, and then we're calling our function, and then it's just going to print out, look how long it is. Don't worry about this stuff. We're really just going to be talking about the formatting here. Okay, there we go. Hello world, and it's doing what we expect. Okay, so you see how hard this thing is to read? So F#, I guess if you haven't used it before, it doesn't really use commas or any kind of like parentheses. It really tries to be as little boilerplate as possible, which is cool, but it can also make things really hard to read. So all of these are parameters. You can see that there's no commas in between them. I have parentheses here because I like having explicit types, but you don't necessarily need to. And then when you want to call it, you again just use spaces to go between the parameters. So it's very boilerplate free, but that doesn't always make things super readable. Now, one of the problems is that, you know, F# is an indentation specific language, or I don't know what the word for it is, but indentation means something, kind of like Python. So you'll also notice we don't have any brackets. We just have an equal sign. And then because it's in this indentation, we just assume that this is the body of this function. Same with Python. But the problem is when you have these really long parameters, right? Because indentation means something, you can no longer do something like you might in Python, where you could say like, I guess it'd be like def my super long function, and then you might have like, you know, A, B, C. Like in normal languages that have like normal syntax, this is how you make your parameters really readable. But when indentation has like meaning and there's no parentheses to kind of show the compiler what is actually a parameter versus function body, etc., this is hard to do. Now, I want to show what I was trying to do because it was like very wrong. So, you know, here we have, it's all on one line, and this is what a lot of my stuff ended up as, but I tried a lot of different things. I was like, okay, everything in a parenthesis is the same, so I would try to do like, okay, this parenthesis here, and now we have another parenthesis, and kind of do this stuff. But this looks really bad too, right? Like you don't actually want that in your code. And so that's why after trying all these different things to see what the compiler likes, I ended up with these super long things, so long that it has to wrap, that is unreadable. Okay, so this is not how we want to do it. Obviously, it's just not readable. I code on like a vertical screen, and this wrapping just, you know, it's just not good for anybody. But if we go into the formatting guidelines, we can see that there's actually a lot of examples of like things to do and not to do. And often it's like, hey, just do the indentations, do the indentations. And way down here, let's see if I can find it. We've got some examples here. Some examples of calling functions that are indented. So all of the parameters are actually indented here. So you're coding vertically and not horizontally. But we also have some examples here where we're defining functions with the parameters here that are vertically and not horizontally. And so what this means for us when we're writing like code with a lot of parameters or something like that, we can actually put everything on a new line like this. So we're kind of getting that like bullet point coding that F# is like known for. And now everything is much easier to read. And this is kind of like way more similar to coding styles you might be used to, where you have a parenthesis and every parameter is on a new line. And so this makes this a lot easier to read. And we can also do the same thing here, where we should be able to move all of these parameters to a new line. And then we can even do the same thing for these like subcalls onto a new line. And now, of course, it is still going to look different. F# looks different than most other languages, but it's much easier to read what's going on, because instead of all this boilerplate stuff, we're just using basic spacing to kind of separate and define our intent. And I'll run this here so you can prove that it's actually working. And there it is. It compiles and runs. So that's it for this video. I don't know how many people are going to be facing the same issue, but this bugged me for a long time. And now my F# is way more readable because of it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.